The following show and its content are the responsibility of the show's producers and participants.
Information related in this program is not meant to substitute medical recommendations. Before starting a treatment program, you should consult your physician.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
That's right. Welcome to the Couch Live here, WPSN99.com. It's a beautiful Friday here in New Smyrna Beach. I'm a street-certified dope, Dr. Louis Delgado. The temperature is perfect weather, even though Trinity might still disagree because he's just...
No, actually,
you like it like this?
It was nice.
You like it like that?
I try to avoid direct sunlight at the moment,
Well,
and it's nice.
I kind of always try to avoid direct sunlight.
I'm just saying, in the shade or in the normal kind of, my walk, if you will, to and from the car, whatever. It is very pleasant.
Right on. Well, I'm glad you like it.
Standing in the direct sunlight, it starts to get a little warm, but that's okay.
Well, I'm glad you like it. Well, let me introduce you to everybody. Well, like I said, I'm the street-certified dope, Dr. Louis Delgado. This is my co-host, Trinity Phillips, the Dharma Guy. Now you can say hi, even though you already did.
What's up? But see, I'm that dude though, right? Like I'm the guy that when I went to the gas station on the way here, and everybody looks at me like I'm that prick walking around because I got sandals, tank top, and cargos still, and they're all walking around in parkas and like they're in the Arctic. Like, dude, it's like 60 something, dude. Like, relax. It's not even. It's actually probably like 70 now.
No, man. Hey, listen, Dana and I were in Amelia Island yesterday.
Oh,
and the day
nice.
before, we were
like
at Amelia Island for Nandina Beach area.
Nice.
I had to go speak up there. And let me tell you something. We went there ready, like we're on the beach, so we're thinking, like this weather, because we left 80-degree weather. Remember, it was like 80 degrees the day we left. We get up there, it's 50-something degrees and windy and like that misty. Oh, I love it, but it's not beach. So it's like,
no.
You got to change plans.
Beach, just not bathing suit beach.
It's not bathing suit beach.
No.
It's definitely not.
Even I don't think I would be doing that.
No, it wasn't anything like what we thought. But, I mean, still had a great time because Amelia Island is still cool. And, I mean, I was there to work anyway. I mean, I go do my thing for an hour and come back and we enjoy the town or whatever. But, anyway, so let's get into it. This is a show focused on addiction and recovery, whether you watch it on YouTube, whether you listen to it on WPSN99.com or any of the other affiliates, or you watch it on Facebook Live or however you enjoy the show.
Consume us.
However you consume us. I like the way you just said that. I'm here to be consumed, people. Consume all you want. However you do it, we're going to be talking about something today, Trinity. Did you see my little dog? I posted my dog in the pic today. That was Kyle.
I saw that.
That was Kyle's picture today. And Kyle's picture is in the post because it was you got to be your own best friend. Here's the problem. All too often, people take care of other people, right? There's a lot of people that take care of other people.
Yes.
But they don't take care of themselves.
You can't fill from an empty cup.
Can't fill from an empty cup. And they don't take care of themselves. And the whole time you think you are doing things for yourself, or you are helping you, but you're not. And so you suffer for it. And then later on, it can lead to some resentments. And you're like, well, I did this for you. Why aren't you doing this for me? And you start measuring the difference between what you do for the person and what they're doing for you. And then you get all resentful and angry and frustrated. And then you wonder why you're not happy.
Yeah. I see that happen a lot.
So that's what we're going to talk about today. But before we start talking about that, there was somebody. Hey, what's up, Rick? How you doing, Romy? Kevin? There's some people on Facebook Live. They're watching on Facebook Live. So if you see me referencing people, I'm talking to people that may be watching it different. My cousin Romy's on there from El Paso. How you doing, Romy? Pete asked a question. Pete Crotty, right? Pete Crotty asked the question, what's your feelings on replacement drugs rather than total abstinence? should there be a time period to stop replacement drugs?
Is that just harm reduction, essentially?
Well, no, I think some people put it in harm reduction. That's a great question. And I think what you're referring to, Pete, is medication-assisted treatment. Okay, so here's how I feel about it. Here's what I really think about it. I think that addiction itself is so complicated and so difficult to escape. The grasp that it has on you is so freaking awful. The way addiction grabs your brain and convinces you to do things you would never do, right? I think that is so great that whatever you have to do to get away from that, I'm going to listen to it, or I'm going to at least subscribe to it for somebody. So if you're talking medication-assisted treatment, Pete, and I think you are, there are people that swear up and down by their methadone. There are people that swear up and down by their Suboxone. There are people that swear up and down by their Vivitrol. There are people that swear up and down by complete abstinence. Now, here's what I don't like. I don't like people choosing to continue to use because of that battle. I don't want you out there. If you feel like methadone is for you, then I'd rather you be on methadone than be on heroin. I don't have to like methadone. I don't have to believe in methadone. I don't have to be a fan of it. But if in your life methadone is what's keeping you being productive in your life and off of heroin and off of opiates, I'm not going to judge you for it. If you're somebody who feels that buprenorphine is what you need, and you don't want that sober period or clean period, not sober period, that period off of all opiates, to get on something like Vivitrol or be completely abstinent, then I'd rather you be on that than heroin. And then, of course, I mean, I speak nationally for Vivitrol already. I'm a big Vivitrol fan. Why? Because it's a non-opiate, non-addictive, doesn't get you high. There's no street value attached to Vivitrol. You can't sell it. There's no diversion attached to it because there's no drug dealer walking around with Vivitrol.
Not that we know of.
You know what I mean? You can't chip at it.
They're a bad drug dealer if they are.
Yeah. When there's no high to it, addiction to it, or dependence to it, how can you not be a fan of Vivitrol?
Right.
And I don't look at it like a replacement therapy. I look at it like this is a recovery drug. I actually believe Vivitrol is a recovery drug, recovery medication. I believe it is abstinence model. I don't believe it's I think Vivitrol actually fits in both medication-assisted treatment and abstinence model.
Right.
Because you're not using an opiate.
Sure.
And if you're not using an opiate, how is that not abstinence? So
I agree.
That's what I was thinking about. So now Cindy asked about kratom. Was having a conversation with someone about kratom. Kratom always comes up, right?
Yeah.
Was having a conversation with someone about kratom recently. Curious on your thoughts. Well, here's what I think about kratom. Kratom comes from the same part of the world where opiates come from. Comes from the same ground, the same nutrients, the same kind of plant. Has a lot of the same properties as our opiates, right? Is the poppy plant. Is where we get heroin from. I don't think we know enough about kratom. Just because kratom is like a cousin that is not as powerful as heroin doesn't make it not dangerous. Doesn't make it safe, I should say. And I don't know enough about it. There's no research that I can feel like I can sink my teeth into to have an educated opinion.
But my cousin's friend Johnny did it.
And that's all we have. Anecdotal information. Everything is anecdotal. Yes. Everything with kratom is anecdotal and wishful thinking. And I think that again, if you're going to use it instead of heroin, of course, I'm a fan of you not using heroin, but I'm not a fan of kratom. I'm not somebody that's going to jump on the bandwagon yet. Well, they have you're going to have to give me some science on that.
There's another one out there too, I think.
Exactly. Thank you, Cindy. Agreeing and not having enough information. We just don't have enough information on it. And that's what scares me is there's a lot of the addict is so vulnerable to predators.
Yes.
The addict is so vulnerable to predators that want to make money. That we're suffering so bad from our addictions and we're suffering so bad in our lives. And some people like to kick us when we're down, and some people like to attack us when we're at our most needy moment. That they come to us with all kinds of things. And they want to offer you, oh, well, you take this or use this or if you go here and you do this, I think that's what we have to defend ourselves against. The more we understand this addiction, the more we break down, the stigma attached to addiction, the more people that can come out and say they have this and want to get help from this, the more we're going to be less subject to these predators that are out there. Because nobody really cares. You know how nobody cares that someone beats up a bully? Well, nobody really cares that people are beating up addicts.
Sadly, that's true. I would like to think, and maybe that's just my wishful thinking, but I'd like to think that a large majority of the people out there, when it comes to addiction and recovery, their heart is in the right place. Like I'd like to think that the person out there trying to tell somebody that you need to take kratom, or you need to take this CBD oil, or you need to go meditate, or whatever their solution might be.
Right.
I'd like to think that their heart is in the right place.
Yeah.
They're just maybe misinformed. Granted, I think there's people out there with ill intent. You're always going to have those.
I believe the individuals saying that stuff do have the right intent.
I'd like to think that.
I do believe that. I think it's the companies behind some of that stuff.
Yeah, of course.
For instance, the companies behind all the synthetic THCs and all that stuff.
They want money.
That's all money.
That's all money. They don't care about your health. They want money.
What trips me out on that market, that business, is I can't believe that anyone carrying a marijuana card, and what I mean is like those subscribing to it's natural, it's God's plant, I should be able to smoke pot. Anyone that believes like that would actually take a synthetic, you should get that card revoked.
Shame
on you. So just let's scoot you out of the picture, because anybody that would try a synthetic K2 or any of that stuff, you're just out of your damn mind at that moment. Right. You got something else going on. You know what I mean? You fit. You actually qualify. Welcome to the meeting.
Well, we did a
Keep
show
coming back.
That,
It works if you work it. Sit down and let's talk about this, because if you're gonna smoke a synthetic that somebody made in some other non-restricted area.
Well, we did a show on that one time about people were saying that the whatchamacallit, the rehabs and everything else are all about the money.
Right.
We're like, but you didn't care about it with your drug dealer. He's all about the money.
Oh, I know.
We did a show on that.
Oh yeah. So often, people come up and they say, it's all about money. Treatment is all about money. Insurance companies are all about money.
So is the drug dealer, bro.
The only business where 100% of the people involved are all about money is the drug dealing business.
Yes.
In that business, 100% of the individuals are all about money. At least in the treatment industry and all those other industries, even the pharmaceutical industry, there's people actually that give a damn.
Yes.
I don't care what percentage it is. At least it's not 100% trying to kill you.
Yeah.
But in the dope dealing game, it's 100% all about the money.
They're not doing it because they care for
100% all about the money. And I come from that world, so good luck trying to educate me on that. Don't even try it. It's all about the money. And so the whole point is you got to take care of yourself. And in taking care of yourself, you do have to do your research a little bit.
Yeah.
You got to get to know what these things are.
Well, that's part of being your own friend, right?
Right, being your own friend. Yeah, there you go. You got to be your own friend. You got to realize people are coming at you. People are going to come at you with all kinds of things. I said, like you said, my cousin's brother, he did this. He did this root that comes from China, and this root that comes from China has been helping the Chinese people for thousands and thousands of years, but the evil big Republican white man, they don't want to give it to you, and they want to hold it back from you, and therefore that's why you can't have it. But if you had it,
you'd be healed.
You'd be healed today. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah. I saw a documentary last night, so I'm an expert now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I don't know what
I
the
saw
problem
something
is.
online. I looked it up online. I Googled it.
There was a Facebook post, so I know what your problem is now. Okay, I'm sure you do.
So often, it's just the population of the drug addict population, the disease-ridden person that is already suffering. They're suffering enough.
Well, and the people around it, I mean, they're filled with desperation, which means they're suckers too.
Yeah.
They want nothing but the best for their loved one.
Yeah.
So they're willing to buy into stuff that they probably shouldn't buy into, and this desperate hope that they've got the cure-all at the moment. Because a lot of them don't want to admit your loved one's got a problem.
Right.
And you can't just fix it through wishing it away or buying it. It's going to take some hard work, dedication, and some time. They don't want to hear that.
A lot of time and a lot of healing.
Yeah.
And and I also want to speak to those people that are predators on the other end. I mean, you're a do-gooder. You've done good all your life, and then you hear medication and you have this resentment against big bad pharma for whatever reason, not taking into account that
we're all alive because of that.
When you go into certain, the reason we're living past 35 years old is because of that.
I don't die of a cold anymore.
Right. I don't have polio.
Yeah.
I don't have smallpox.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? The whole reason that when you go in there and you have someone cut your brain open to remove something, or cut your chest open to give you a heart surgery, That's not Tylenol you're getting.
No, you better give me something better than Tylenol.
That's not a mantra. You're not sitting there going, oh,
no.
Oh, all right, go ahead and cut. Oh.
Although I did see a thing on TV once where they had that.
Yeah, good luck with that.
There's the ones where they digging with their hands and stuff. It's all fake, but still.
What are you talking about? Wait, what did you just say?
I was making a joke about how we were saying that the anecdotal stuff where somebody saw something on TV.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure at some point you have to have seen those fake like I don't know what they call them. I don't know what the technical term is, but they're like these they're trying to portray themselves as touched by the spirit or whatever, and they do these like pseudo surgeries where they reach into your belly and they pull out stuff, and there's no hole there, no nothing, and they've got the. Never mind.
What the hell are you talking about, Trinity?
Somebody out there.
Was that a video game where you're talking about? Are you still back in Red Dead 2?
No. Let me see. I'm gonna look it up now.
Do you guys know what Trinity's talking about?
It's not real. But they present them. They're snake oil salesmen.
Oh, so is it like the people that just lay their hands just right above your skin, and they're healing you?
No. These ones are.
Is that Reiki?
No, these ones. Oh, be careful with that one. We know Reiki.
No, I'm not trying to attack. I'm just saying. Is that what that is?
No.
What is Reiki?
I don't know.
How do you define that?
I don't. So I don't know. There's a.
We're gonna have to get. We know someone that's really big in that. We're gonna have to get her in here.
I know a couple people actually. Yeah. My mother-in-law's into that stuff.
All right.
No, I'm talking about there's these fake ones where it's like a fake surgery where they put their hands actually into your belly. There's blood and everything else. They pull out the tumor or whatever it is was bothering you, and wipe it away, and there was no hole there. And like I healed you, and it's all BS, of course, but same thing.
Trinity, I still think you're talking about a video game. I don't even know where Trinity went to.
See, I'm gonna have to look this up.
I still think Trinity's in video game mode. All right, so anyway, when I'm talking about taking care of yourself and being your own best friend in this, is because even the do-gooders, the ones that want to help you, will come out and they'll denounce all medication.
Yes.
For instance, like let's say like the way Pete started us off. Let's say you don't like methadone, okay, but that doesn't mean every medication is methadone. I mean, you may have your reasons why you're anti-methadone. And then you throw that same hate and disgust or feelings towards all the buprenorphine products. And then you take that same hate and disgust towards the Vivitrol products, and oral naltrexone, whether it be oral or whether it be injectable naltrexone. Then you take all that hate and you put it on another product. I don't care. The point is that you can't just randomly throw this disgust towards the pharmaceutical industry for whatever.
It's dangerous.
It's dangerous.
We both know somebody who died because of that.
Right.
They made them feel guilty that they weren't... They weren't clean because they were still taking, whatever it was.
He was made to feel that he was not clean. He was made to feel that he was not doing the right, even though he had 6 months away from heroin, even though he was going to meetings, even though he was doing the steps, even though he had a sponsor, even though he was coming in early, staying late. He was made to feel that he wasn't clean, and he ended up calling me at night, crying, saying that he's tired of feeling like he's not really clean because people say that he's not clean.
Yes.
Threw away his don't segue yet. Threw away his buprenorphine and ended up instead doing like 10 bags of heroin and died that night. So I don't like those conversations of judgment towards anyone else on how they choose to live their life in their sobriety.
Well,
that's right, Charles. Welcome to the show. Stigma does kill. And so there's a lot of individuals that may find some comfort in using a substitution or using another drug, medication, whatever. I still think it's up to the individuals to make that choice. And the last thing you have is choice. And what an addict is struggling with is the absence of choice. So to give the addict some form of choice in the matter, with the right guidance, with the right protections, then I think we're moving in the right direction. So as long as there's some rules attached to it. So all right, well, if I go down this road of my own therapy, if I choose to use this medication or use this product or use this over-the-counter or use this other substance, then if these things happen, then I need to know I need to quit that too. Well, if that's what you need to do, then that's what you need to do.
There's a very real case to be made for harm reduction, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing that that's the big pink elephant in the room, I guess. I mean, from the outside looking in, abstinence is probably the best possible way, sure, but if I have, I've got children, and what I know about this disease at this point, if you gave me the choice, would I rather have my kids show up with a heroin needle or a pot, like a joint?
Yeah.
I'm taking a joint.
All day long.
You know, I don't want them to do either one.
Yeah.
But if I got to choose,
right.
or if I've got a son or daughter that's on heroin,
right,
and they're saying to me, you know, I need something,
right.
I would much rather have them downgrade to heroin than,
absolutely.
I mean,
downgrade to kratom, you mean? Kratom
that
or pot.
too. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, you know, obviously in a perfect world, they wouldn't do any of it.
Right.
But we don't live in a perfect world. And so I think this idea that harm reduction doesn't exist, I think that's nearsighted.
Well, I like that. I think we need to at least be respectful of ourselves and be respectful of the people actually suffering the disease and saying, listen, you know, like you said, in a perfect world, you'd use nothing, but I'm not so sure you can use nothing. I'm not sure. I'm not the person coming to me and saying, "What do you think if I smoke pot?" or "What do you think if I use kratom?" I'm saying, "Well, obviously, I'm a believer that if you can go without, then go without. But I'd rather you be comfortable in your recovery as well. Yeah. And your recovery may include some other things involved initially. I look more for signs if it's not working for you.
Yeah.
Because if it's working for you, keep doing it. You know, because you know what's not working for me? Red sauce before going to bed. That doesn't work for me. But that doesn't mean I always listen to the rules. And sometimes I'll eat pizza before going to bed or something spicy before going to bed. That doesn't work for me. But I don't have the whole world judging me and jumping down my back and going, Louis, you're such a horrible person. Yeah. You ate pizza before bed. Shame on you.
But you know my favorite part, though, in this whole thing?
And that stuff exists.
You know my favorite part, though, is the same people, you know, and this is anecdotal, I guess, but the same people who will judge the addict for you know, medical assisted treatment or even using kratom or weed or whatever it may be will be the same ones that can't go their day without starting with their coffee or their cigarette or their donut or whatever it may be. So a lot of them are the same people. It's like, oh, wait a minute now.
There's a lot of hypocrisy.
Exactly.
There's a lot of and again, that's where the stigma is attached to. The stigma attached to addiction is so horrible that there's so much hypocrisy involved.
Yeah.
You know, we're not looking internal at our own selves and seeing how we're actually contributing to some of these problems.
I think that's part of being your own friend, I guess, would be to block some of that out.
Right.
Is to take what people are saying with a little bit of grain of salt.
Yeah.
You know, let them, you know, in the words of D.L. Hughley, hate is going to hate.
Oh boy.
You know what I mean? That's their job.
What's up, Roland? What's up, Eddie?
Cat Williams said it too. It's just hate is going to hate. That's their job.
Let them hate. Hate is going to hate.
So, you know, if you're doing something that's working for you, and you got a lot of people who are let them hate. Well, that's their job.
Well, the problem is, all right. So here's one of the issues, and I'm glad Cindy brought this up about the kratom, because here's the real deal. If me as an addictions professional, I take a hard stance against any substance that's out there that can actually help my clients or help people that I'm helping.
Right.
Where is that going to push my client? That's going to push my client to listen to who, especially if they're going to use it, no matter what. Right. It's going to push them to the people that really don't know shit.
Yeah.
It's going to push them to the people that really don't give a damn about them. And so when they go talk to those people, they're like, man, the internet, man, people have been smoking pot for years. You know, it's been, you know, people have been using kratom for forever, and they start getting in their heads, and because we want to use something anyway. I mean, I want something. Right. Don't get me wrong. I want something. Look, I got a monster. Look, I'm flawed. I got a monster.
I just have my Celsius.
There you go. So I'm flawed. You know, but we should at least recognize that. At least I admit that. I have to admit that I am an individual, that when I have a certain feeling state and I don't like it, I want something else to help me get out of that feeling state. And I know how to do it. So if I'm tired and I want to go up, I know how to get me up. Yeah. Do I need cocaine today? No. But I do know that there's something else like a monster. Now, if I find myself drinking 2, 3, 4, if I find that tolerance increasing,
right. Well, I think
that's the key. The key is, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but that's the key. The key here is, with addiction to exist, how did it get involved in our heads? How did addiction get its grasp on us in the first place? We had to have it become habitual, and we had to start using it to the point where tolerance started building. So the key to every question you're going to have, like, what do you think about this, and what do you think about this, and what do you think about this, is number one, show me the science and show me the research. Number two, who's the one selling it, and what is my real purpose for doing it? But number three, does it develop tolerance? Because if it develops a tolerance, back away.
Right.
I have to monitor everything that can develop tolerance, including Trinity trying to sell me on this video game that he wants me to play. What he doesn't understand is Trinity's not an addict, so Trinity can play this Red Dead 2 and take it or leave it. What he doesn't understand is if I go out and get this PS4 and this Red Dead 2, he might not see me for a month.
Yeah, and my wife would probably agree with you on that one, though. So.
It's true, though.
I think
you're not taking into account Trinity. You're talking to a dope fiend. You can try to give me a video game, Trinity, and I'm not going to be able to get off.
Trust me, I've had moments where I've had all right, I need to get off here for a little while. But I think the
irresponsible friend you're being, Trinity.
Do it. No, but the thing that comes to my mind also, I guess, with the whole being your best friend is just self-love, man. Love yourself enough to do the right things for your future self, kind of thing.
Right.
And the thing that I, of course, preach more than most is self-awareness. Like, be honest with yourself, man. I don't see that a lot these days, where people, even in the addiction world, there's a situation occurring, with some people that I know, at the moment, anyways, where they're trying to help somebody in need right now.
Okay.
And I think that their heart is in the right place. But I think that they're misinformed, and they're not self-aware enough to know that, hey, you know what? Maybe this isn't the best thing for me to do for myself or for my family members, right? Like, it's the equivalent of me, watching a video online about changing a tire or something, and now all of a sudden I think I'm an expert.
Yeah.
And not realizing that, in this case, it's their loved one is dealing with addiction,
right?
And they think that they're going to be able to kind of help them get through it without treatment or without therapy, without anything. And to me, that's not loving yourself, because what's happening is, you're going to obviously hurt your loved one because you're not qualified to do it,
right.
Which in turn is going to hurt you when you finally wake up one day and realize, oh my God, what did I do?
Right.
And that to me is a lack of self-assessment. You got to look inward and say, hold on, man, am I staying in my lane right now? Or am I getting out of my lane? Yeah. Am I doing something I'm just not qualified to do? And what people don't realize is that too is self-love. Love yourself enough to not create a situation where you're going to have some major regrets in a little bit, when all you got to do is just make a different decision.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is that, that all makes sense in the rational world, but, when that hijacking occurs,
yep.
And it doesn't just occur, the hijacking of the brain doesn't just occur in the addict, it happens in the addict's family and the loved ones. So once that hijacking occurs, all that rational thinking is out the window.
Oh, I know. I've seen it.
So when we're talking about being your own best friend as well, just understand, I'm not always aware of my body. You know how people say, I know my body?
Yes.
I know me?
Yes.
Those two sentences don't seem to exist very well when you're hijacked. You don't know your body, and you don't know you very well when your disease is at strength.
Yeah.
When your disease is at full strength, I didn't know me.
Right.
What I knew is a lot of protection, like how to get out of things, and even that was difficult.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like it was a lot of instinctual stuff. Like if you're coming at me over here, I'm dipping over here. If you're asking me a question, you could have asked me where I was the last 10 minutes, and just because I was such in lie mode at that time in my life, even if I was at 7-Eleven, I would have told you I was at Circle K.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm sure.
I mean, it's like I didn't even know why I'm lying about the things I'm lying about when I'm in disease mode.
Right.
It's just you asked a question, and that immediately made me go, what's your reasoning of why you're asking me that question? What are you trying to get at? What motive do you have? It made me not trust not only you, but anybody, because I didn't trust me. Something inside my brain knows I didn't trust me. So if to be your own best friend, you have to realize I may not be well. I may not be as well as I think I am right now. My wants, what I want out of life, may be getting in the way of what I need right now, which is why we call the foundation the Needs Over Wants, the Now Matters More Foundation, Needs Over Wants. Because what I want all too often gets in the way, and it makes me behave a certain way. It drives my decisions.
Well, and I think, to me, that's why, for me anyways, that's one of my most important things when I talk to people about self-love and being your own best friend, is just those honest self-assessments, man. Like, I don't think
but how do you do an honest self-assessment when you're completely blinded and you don't think you need to, when you think you already did the self-assessment?
It's a good question. I don't know if there is a one right answer for that.
I don't think there is.
I think there's a multitude of different tools that we have access to that help us get to that. Friends, family, loved ones, professionals. Yeah. I think to me that's where it kind of comes into staying in your lane type of deal.
Right.
Like, if I'm not qualified to make such an assessment, then I don't have business making that assessment.
Right.
I like to do things around my house, on my own. But there's certain times where certain problems will come up. I'm smart enough now in my life to say, you know what? I'm a smart dude. I can figure some things out. This is beyond my pay grade.
Right.
Let me go ahead and bring somebody else in here.
Yeah.
And that's a hard thing to do. It's our egos get in the way, and we start to think that we're the best at everything. I can do. Stop. Let somebody who spent their whole life dedicated to this do what they need to do.
Right.
And so I would think when it comes to mental things, we got friends and family, and I'd like to think that if we're honest with ourselves, obviously, if you're in the middle of addiction, your brain's not necessarily working at full tilt at the moment.
Right.
But I like to think that there's something inside of us, though, that says this might not be right. We just get really good at tuning that voice out.
Yeah.
But it's there. I'd like to think that it doesn't ever go away.
No, it is there.
We just learn how to tune it out.
It is there, but the problem is the trust issues are so huge when you're suffering of any kind of, addiction or that kind of pain. Your trust issues are on tilt, and the reason is because you're so used to failing yourself and you're not trusting yourself. So it's hard to imagine anyone else being trustworthy because if you're this close to you and you have failed you, well then for sure then people out there are trying to fail you. And then by the time, remember your brain tries to use everything against you. It's like anyone has ever tried to stop you or prevent you from harming yourself, they become enemies to you because they're saying things that are just so emotionally painful.
Right.
So you stop trusting them, or they turned you in, or maybe they try to do a Marchman Act on you, or they try to put you in treatment when you didn't want to go, and they lied to you. Maybe they scheduled an intervention, and you felt that was deceitful, and the premise of how they got you into the room was bad, and maybe they stopped paying for things, maybe because all your money was going to drugs, so they stopped paying for your car, or they stopped paying for your house, or wouldn't loan you money because they didn't trust what you were doing with your money. So you looked at that like a violation of it. What is that?
Hit the wrong button.
They started looking like that as a violation of the trust or something. So they have all this list of reasons of why not to trust people.
Yeah.
They've been lied to, they've been cheated on, and they start feeling like the only people that really get me are the people right next to you that are yesing you to death because they're doing the same thing that you're doing.
They're just as sick as you are.
So when I'm saying be your own best friend as well as saying, that person right next to you might not be your best friend.
Yeah.
That person right next to you might be making decisions or telling you things based on their needs, things that they want from you. My friends liked me high. My friends liked me, messed up. Why? Because I was getting them high too.
Yeah.
They were enjoying the profits. They were enjoying the spoils. When one pirate is out there pillaging and bringing home a lot of booty, who doesn't like booty? Trinity?
Raising water raises all boats, man.
There you go.
At least you think it does.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's how So we're talking about being your best friend, and you got to be your own best friend first. It's just taking the time out to just give yourself a little pause and ask yourself, how kind am I really being to myself? Or am I making decisions based on how I'm feeling about other people? Am I not going to treatment because they're telling me I need to go? Or because I feel like threatened that I need to go? Or because, I don't want them to be right. I could do this on my own. I got myself here. I can get myself out of here. Well, you didn't get yourself here.
Right.
You didn't get yourself in this situation by yourself.
There's other half of it, and you kind of mentioned it in the very beginning, but we veered off just a little bit.
Okay.
That I think needs to be mentioned again, though, and I see it a lot with the people our ilk, the people we hang around, not necessarily those in recovery, but those helping those in recovery. For a lot of us who are helpers or fixers or whatever, you can get burnt out, man. You spend all your time trying to help other people, trying to be there, be everything for everybody else.
Right.
And like I said in the beginning, you can't fill from an empty cup. And so that I think that's the thing that we needs to be mentioned. With a lot of people who are helpers, like you got to help yourself too. Helping yourself is helping other people.
Right.
If you're not in a good space, if you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not well, then you're not going to be what you need to be for the people around you.
Yeah.
If you're not well mentally, you're never going to help that person who's struggling with addiction, your loved one.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not able to kind of find some sort of peace or balance within yourself and understand what's happening around you and make decisions based upon what needs to happen as opposed to emotional decisions, you're not really helping that person either.
No.
And I think that's hard, man. I think that's a really hard thing to do because I think fixers can get caught up in that mentality of I need to help this person.
Yeah.
And then, well, what about you? I'm fine. I'll take. No, you're not. Like, you're not fine. You're struggling. You can't deny your own health, your own family, your own situation, your own future for these other people, because there's always going to be somebody else. There's always somebody that needs to be fixed. There's always somebody who's going to need your help. And I had to learn that lesson myself early on. Like, it was, matter of fact, I can't even own You Can't Fill From an Empty Cup, because that was Aaron that told it to me. It was years ago. I was struggling with some stuff, and I was just burnt out from everybody around me wanting stuff and needing stuff. And he was like, dude, you got to find a way to fill your cup. He's like, your cup keeps getting empty, and you're surrounded by a bunch of people who are taking from your cup, but you need to start finding ways of filling your cup. And that's, for me, it was meditation. It was, just intrinsic learning, things of that nature, stuff that kind of gives me fuel for my day. I had to find that out because I was too busy filling everybody else's cup, man.
Right.
So I think that's an important thing.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think there's a lot of individuals out there, unfortunately, that that feel like I'm the only one keeping this person alive. If I wasn't doing this, and and they'll yes you to, or they'll agree with you intellectually. I agree with you. I think I am enabling. I know that I'm not fully benefiting the situation. I know I should do that, and yeah, I've heard that, and I need to do that. However, but I feel like if I don't do this today, they'd be dead. If I don't,
that gentleman we met over in the last, what was it, Broward County, I think it was.
Oh yeah, Brevard County. No, not Broward. That's a whole different issue.
The gentleman we were.
That's the voting.
Yeah, the gentleman we were talking to afterwards, he came up to us.
Yeah.
It was one of those types of situations where, just looking at him and talking to him, I can tell his health is on the decline. He wasn't doing well. He's already now alienated from his other friends and family because of this situation. Like,
entire family.
His entire life and world as he knows it is kind of it's lessened in comfort, essentially, all because of his willingness and his need to help his grandson, essentially, which is a very noble thing. Like, I'm not telling him not to help. I mean, who am I to tell him not to help your grandson?
Right.
But from the outside looking in, I can tell, like, dude, this isn't working for you.
Right.
Man. Like, this is. I mean, look at yourself, man. You're not doing well right now. But yeah, I think he was so stuck on wanting to help somebody, he forgot to be his own best friend. Yeah. And as his health deteriorates, if he's no longer here, then who's going to help his grandson?
And that's a horrible story what Trinity's talking about. This is older gentleman that you're right. He's in the later stages of life, and I mean real later stages. When you looked at him, he was obviously not well. He looked in pain, not only emotionally but physically. Yeah. And so his entire family has cut him off. Yeah. Like, so now this older gentleman who has always been like at the center of Christmases and Thanksgivings and all these things said that he's no longer even invited if he brings his grandson. So he's choosing not to go. Yeah. Because of that enabling. Because he felt someone has to be here for this kid. And that's, you're right, Trinity. And it's like, well, to be with him, you have to help fight what's inside him. Yep. That's not the kid you think it is. But how do you put that across? You know what I mean? His family's not able to get that message across to him. They're trying,
but he's not being his own best friend.
He's not being his own best friend.
His life is
immersed with this disease.
Yeah, and he's cut off from his friends, his family. Yeah, and he's, to be honest, he's cut off from his grandson as well. Yeah, because the thing he's talking about, that's not his grandson.
No, and his grandson's stealing from him. He's already said he's stealing from him. He's robbing from him. He's taking things. He's abusing him. It's not even working, but yet if I don't do it, he'd be out on the street and I can't do it. And it's that, it's almost like that soldier who just picks up that flag, like on the battlefield, picks up the flag and still runs forward knowing they're going to shoot him.
Yeah, I'm not going to be that guy.
He still picks up the flag and runs forward. I'm like, brother.
Yeah, I'm not going to be that guy.
You got to live to fight another day.
Exactly.
You got to live to fight another. That's noble of you. Yeah. That's awesome that you picked up that flag and ran forward. I mean,
is it
for the end of the movie?
Yeah.
For a movie, it's great.
Oh, absolutely.
But if I'm your loved one at home, I'm saying, can you just stop, duck, and cover for a few minutes?
Or the old school battles where the frontline people, where they would just sit there and stare at each other and load their muskets and shoot. like the front line. You know you're going down. Like that's your role is to take the first shot.
Oh yeah.
No, thank you.
Oh yeah.
That's probably why I'm never gonna join the military. I can't be that dude that's like take the hill.
Well,
no, you take the hill.
Well, Trinity, you would test out of that position.
I'm just saying, man.
I mean, there's a reason they give you the ASVAB. There's a reason they give you tests,
right?
So you can test out of the position of frontline defense.
I don't want to be that guy.
You know what I mean?
Much respect to that guy. That guy has to be present, but I'm good.
I would like to believe, Trinity, that you would take that test for the military and you would test out of the front line. Well, I'm sure they didn't tell you you're going to be in the front line.
No, they didn't want me to be infantry. They Air Force was all over me, and
you know. Yes, the point is that to be your own best friend, you have to do things that are beneficial to you. And I think here's, taking that gentleman that we were talking about, Trinity, unfortunately, there's a lot of value right now placed upon him for some reason and for whatever reason. And that's the stuff that we would have to dig in. Like a therapeutic relationship with him would not just be saying you have to do tough love with your grandson, but it would be trying to find out inside him how this is fueling him. Like something is fueling him about helping his grandchild. Yeah, he's getting something, and whether it be some guilt from early on in some other relationship, whether he feels like he wasn't there for his daughter or son. I don't think we heard whether it was his daughter or son. We just heard it was grandson. So, but whatever relationship he feels like he was missing from and wasn't contributing to might be actually fueling his need or desire to be overcompensating with his grandson, which is in turn leading him to die with his grandson.
Isn't that kind of what Al-Anon is for, though? Doesn't Al-Anon help those types of situations, help family members and whatnot?
Sure.
I mean, so that's
Al-Anon, Nar-Anon, therapy, all of it.
So there are resources to help.
Right.
But I think that's where loving yourself comes into play, is to reach out for those resources.
Right.
There's an abundance of resources in the world at the moment, some of which cost money, some of which don't. Yeah. And I think it's incumbent upon us to do that, to reach out to find these resources.
It's just hard to go and do that, man.
I'm sure.
It's just so hard. Imagine someone telling you.
But hold on. What? Like I hear that so much, right?
That it's hard to go?
Well, I hear it's hard, right?
Yeah.
Like in spirituality and Buddhism, I tell people you got to learn to let things go, and they're like, "Oh, it's so hard to let it go."
Right.
And in addiction, it's so hard to go. Yeah. Is the alternative really that much easier?
No, but it's familiar.
It might be familiar, but
familiar has some sort of. But unfortunately, familiarity has a comfort to it that's really hard to understand.
Sure.
Something familiar, regardless of how painful, gives you a cloak of fake comfort that you carry with you, so you feel more comfortable in familiar pain rather than unfamiliar health. And so that's look.
You think it's easier,
concrete
but it's not.
It's not easier. No, concrete is difficult. When your feet are in concrete, it's hard to move.
Sure.
And so you're stuck. You're stuck in your decisions. You're stuck in a behavior pattern. You're stuck in a way of thinking. And to break that from being stuck is next to impossible to that individual. So that's why it requires that outside assistance to kind of break it. Like chisel that concrete from their feet, because you're not going to chisel your own concrete from your feet. For instance, let me give you an example. I love the movie Saws, all the Saws movie.
Yes.
Saw. And
you know about all of them.
Well, I just
get kind of weird at the end.
Yeah, they're weird, but whatever. In other words, I like the whole idea, the principle of it. And the principle of it is, what are you willing to do?
Yeah.
So let's say your foot is clamped on a bear trap, and the only way out of it is to saw your leg off.
Yeah.
There's a lot of individuals that just won't do that.
Yeah.
Right? That is real world life situations. Sometimes you have to do something that you know is going to be so physically painful. There's a lot of individuals that say, I could never do that. And you're like, well, yes, you can.
Yeah, if it comes down to life or death,
you 100% can. And that movie shows you the level of desperation. That's why I love the movie. Yeah. The movie is so psychologically telling about what an individual can do and would be willing to do out of greed, out of necessity, out of desire, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Those emotional things are that powerful. So if you're sitting there and you're thinking, I can't kick him out. I can't go get a Marchman Act. I can't get the law involved. I just can't do it. I can't force him. I can't take away his car. I can't stop paying for it. I can't not give him a hotel room. I can't. Yes, you can, but maybe not in the mind state that you currently are. Right. So go get whatever help you need to kind of build up your own understanding of why you're not being your own best friend and therefore not being able to help properly.
Yeah.
But once you build up your own understanding of what's going on, once you kind of cut through your own disease, then you can help somebody with their disease. But if the disease is so heavy in you and your brain is hijacked and thinking this is the only way to do it, you can't be helpful if you think there's only one way to do it right now.
Yeah.
You need to back away and go get help yourself, for sure.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, and I'm it's easy to sit here and play armchair quarterback, like we're not in the middle of doing it. I get it, but
Right.
it doesn't change it. You know what I mean? The facts
Right.
are still the facts.
Right.
Things are hard, things are not hard, but it doesn't change the fact that this is still the proper way to go.
Right.
And I think that's the realization people need to come to.
Right.
They need to have that aha moment where if I don't cut my leg off right now, I'm
Right.
going to die.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But the key to anybody out there that feels like that gentleman that we just told his story,
Yeah.
the key to anybody is that he still has hope. And so my goal for you is that we get you to the right help while you still have hope.
Yeah.
Because the day you lose that hope, they're done.
That's when you go the other direction, making
Total
bad
other
decisions.
direction.
Yeah.
Total other direction, total opposite way, and then you will not be there for him.
all apathy.
Then it doesn't matter if the addict comes to you with 1 year clean. You're still saying, "Get out of my life. I don't care to see you." I had a sponsor, man, that I'm telling you, he had 12 years clean at the time of his death. Now this is over 30 years of trying. He had a long period, relapsed, and another long period. But he was an older gentleman, had lots of people, had like 20-something sponsees. I mean, he was just, the nickname was the Pope in the meetings because he was just that guy. But when he died, to that day, when cancer was eating him away and he chose not to do any of the treatments and therapies and chose, this is just my time and I'm going to let it go. And he just let it go.
Wow.
His daughter still never spoke to him. All the way to the time of his death, she never, ever forgave him or spoke to him. And what I'm saying is there comes that point in time, and you don't think you have it. You don't think that everybody has a price, but everybody has a price in pain, and everybody has a price in joy. Right. And as long as if you're enabling somebody right now, and you feel like I can't, listen, you must still have hope. And let's grab that hope and turn it into helping, because if not, once you lose that hope, you will not forgive.
No.
You will reach the point of no return, and you will not forgive. And that is what your loved one needs, that little bit of hope. They're going to need that little bit of forgiveness later on in their recovery. So that's kind of the goal there, is to not wait too long, not wait till there's no way out of it. And so being your own best friend. Let's get back to being your own best friend. If you're the one using Trinity, some of that includes real simple things. Like I made a joke earlier that I would eat pizza at night. Well, actually, I stopped doing that. Because to be my own best friend, I just can't eat so wrong. I allow myself to eat wrong a lot of times.
What's wrong?
So, what's wrong for me?
Yeah.
What's wrong for me is just too many fried foods.
Okay.
That's wrong for me. Because at one point in time, the only things I would eat was fried. So so if you even mentioned the word baked, you might as well have said tofu. No,
wow.
Seriously. I equated baked with tofu. You might as well just told me, let's go do goat yoga.
Okay.
Because the way I equated baked foods, like if you told me you're going to take my French fries and bake them.
So I should cancel our goat yoga for today?
I'm not sold on goat yoga at the moment.
Me either. So we're
not
good.
yet. I'm not saying it's bad for you out there.
To each their own.
You want to do it, you go right ahead. But to me, at this point in time, I like the little goats. I do like seeing them. I like playing with them. I like when they ram their little heads at you. You know what I mean? They're little stubborn little suckers sometimes. But I guess I'm not into the regular yoga first. So let me get into regular yoga first without the goat.
Sure.
Because I don't know if goats are gonna get me there.
Yeah.
But the hot, you know which one interests me? The one that's like really hot.
The Bachroom or whatever it's called?
Yeah, that kind of interests me a little bit. To go into a room that's like steaming hot and like try to do these positions. Because here's the problem.
Should I tell you right now that there's no science that says that's any more beneficial than regular yoga?
See. Let me tell him why I'm going to tell him why I'm interested. You know why I'm interested, Trinity?
Why is that?
Because when I tried yoga, I was sweating like crazy. Like my whole mat got wet. And I looked around and some people were like not even sweating. Right. So I feel like if I go into the one that everybody sweats, They won't see how worthless I am at yoga.
You know, that reminds me.
That was my reason to want to go into the hot one, because then we're all sweating like crazy.
It reminds me of Corbin and all them. They're in it's like 90 degrees or 100 degrees at the track.
Oh my God!
And I'm dying.
Yeah.
And I see Corbin get out of a race car with a race suit, and he's not even sweating.
Not
I'm
even
like,
sweating.
Whatever, dude. Whatever.
And just put on a different shirt, and he looked like he just took a shower.
Yeah. Like, whatever, man.
Yeah, but he told us why he's like that.
Yeah, that's what he said, anyways.
I mean, he said he practices by just driving a car around in 80, 90 degree weather without air conditioner on, sweating, just so he can be ready for that race car. I mean, that's intense.
That's loving yourself.
Hey, Janie, how you doing? You know, we got to meet one of these days, Janie. Anyway, so...
yeah, that would be loving yourself.
That would be loving yourself.
On a whole nother level.
On loving yourself on a whole nother level.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, anyway, so to break some of this stuff down a little bit more. All right? So, loving yourself is sometimes... So it's a little bit difficult. It just means that taking care of yourself first over others. It just means that sometimes we're living our lives more like a martyr rather than the healthy person that we need to be. And to be honest with you, people want you around. People want you. Yeah, they like maybe what you have to offer. They like that you're giving them money, or that you're giving them attention, or that you're giving them time, or that you're agreeing with them. Of course, they like it temporarily. But in the long run, if they really care about you, if people really care about you, they really want you around for the long run. And if you're doing things for somebody on that temporary basis, just playing that martyr and just doing it for them, you're not going to be around for that long term. Or when they really need you, and when I mean by really need you, I mean they need your truth. They need the truth.
Right.
They need to hear how you really feel about a situation. They need to hear that they're really not moving in the right direction. You're not going to be there because you're so used to yesing them, or you're so used to giving them what they want. You're not even going to know how to help them. And so it's important for you to stick around longer and take care of yourself. Consequently, also though, some of you take care of yourself so much that, like, you say no to everything. You think that's taking care of yourself?
I'm a little guilty of that.
I'm not a the old tough love style is not necessarily the best either. You know, like the people will be like, no, you prove it to me. You prove it to me. You just sound like angry and bitter. So if you're in that angry, bitter mode, you still need to keep going to counseling.
Crotchety,
get out my line. Yeah. Some of you are just a little bit too harsh. You know,
I'm probably guilty of that sometimes.
Are you? Are you a little bit too
Maybe
harsh?
not in the addiction world, I guess, but
yeah,
just in
general.
real
life.
Yeah, just in general.
Yeah, or your real life.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get it. I mean, I get why some people are so
Sure.
restricted. You know, like I get that vibe from some like my mom and your mom could be real tough. Like we both have tough moms.
Yeah. Except for my mom. Hold up, no. And my mom may or may not be watching this.
Right.
My mother as a mother
Right.
is tough, like an old battle axe.
Right.
My mother as a grandmother
They're
is
different,
the
aren't they?
softest, like, where was this woman when I was in trouble or being raised or when I did something wrong?
Right.
Vastly different responses I'm getting now.
Yeah.
And I'm a little jealous, if I'm honest.
Yeah, that's what I said about my dad.
I see my kids, man, and they're like, they do something, and my mom is like, oh,
yeah.
I'm like, hold up.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I did this. You whooped me, or you yelled at me, or you did whatever. Yeah. So I'm just going to put that out there. A little bit different.
Well, now I completely forgot what I was going to say about it.
I'm sorry.
It's not. No,
Squirrel.
It's not relevant anymore.
We
love our parents.
I felt compelled to put that out there
because I agree with you. I agree with you. I mean, my parents are definitely not the same parents that I was raised with. To the grandchildren, they're still the same to me, though.
Yeah, my mom is similar to the same.
I'm still the same. My mom still wants to punch me.
Dude,
so I don't think our relationship has changed much.
Yeah, well, when I was a kid, anecdotal story here, but I got to share it now.
Yeah,
and it's a famous story. My mom, she knows where I'm going with this because it's just one of the first ones I can remember.
Oh boy,
you know those little green energy things in your neighborhoods?
It's like the cook.
What?
Oh, I thought you were talking about the green egg.
No, it's a green energy thing. It's in some every other yard or something like that, or every couple of yards.
Oh yeah.
Green
Yeah.
metal thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I was a kid, had a big wheel,
mm-hmm.
and I, for whatever reason, had the brilliant idea to put my big wheel on top of it and try to ride off of it and try to jump it, basically.
Yeah.
So I did. Didn't go well. I fell back and hit my head, and then what they called a goose egg, which just just huge knot on my head.
Right.
I go inside crying. My mom said, "You'll be fine. Go out there and play."
Yep.
Didn't even look at it. Didn't do whatever. Just like, you're
right.
fine. Get out of here. What are you doing? Stop doing that.
Right.
My son or my daughter could just bump their knee on like the couch, which is padded, and start crying. My mom will hold them and caress them and be like, "It's okay. It's all right. Let me kiss the boob." Like, hold up. Wait a minute. I could have had a concussion. Like, I could have been seriously injured. And she was like, "Get out there and play. You're fine." My kid's like bump into a padded couch, and it's like the world's going to end. Just going to put that out there.
Yeah. Well.
Just saying.
Mom, Dad, why didn't you change that much? Because my mom and dad still to this day would probably still say, "Shake it off. Why are you even crying?"
Right.
You know.
Do your kids? They would say that?
Probably, yeah.
See, I don't know.
Yeah.
I've only seen your parents as this, so they both seem like these sweet old people.
Oh, they're sweet. They're sweet older people. Don't get me wrong. They're sweet older people, but they don't like crybabies.
Like some of the stories you told me that your dad did. I don't see it.
No, he won't do that to them. No, he's not going to throw. No, he threw me in an ocean and said, "Follow the dog," and that's how I learned how to swim. He's not doing that to my kids. He's not like doing that stuff.
That's awesome.
You know, follow the dog. He didn't throw me in the ocean
awesome.
to learn how to swim. You know, that's not how he would taught my kids. But at the same time, they don't like crybabies, and so that's I'm talking about that story that you told. The crying, they no,
right.
They have no tolerance for crying or whining. Now here's what they will do though. They'll look at me and go like, "What are you doing?" They'll blame me.
Yeah, it's your fault
for their crying or blind.
You got a sissy kid. It's your fault.
Like, what did you do?
It's funny.
It's not that. It's not them. But anyway, all right. So let's start peeling this back and let's roll back and close this up a little bit. Trinity, you want to tell everybody about our sponsors real quick, please?
Yes, sir. We got Retreat Premier Addiction Treatment Centers. It's a fantastic place. They got multiple locations. Give them a call or reach out to us. We can connect you to them. And while I'm at another great location would be Journey Pure. Multiple locations as well. Great people, great facilities. Then you have Orange County Drug Free Coalition, which we both just missed a meeting for yesterday. But they're doing great things here in the county. Always supportive of us. And then, of course, you have, last but not least, the Now Matters More Foundation, to which I am the president. You are the founder. You can reach us at nowmattersmore.org if you want to read more about us, or if you want to donate. By all means, we always accept donations. Or if you are a loved one struggling with addiction and you don't know where to turn or you need some assistance, 833-NOW-MATTERS. That's 833-NOW-MATTERS, and we will help you get where you need to go.
That's right. Thank you very much, Trinity. And, of course, listen, when we talk about being your own best friend, that's not saying be selfish or anything like that. That's simply saying take care of yourself because you are important. I think it's very important in life, period, to kind of take a step back and kind of look at how am I really treating myself? Am I doing the things that I feel are necessary for me to get to the next stage of my life? And there's always a next stage of life, by the way. Until it's over, there's another stage. Yeah. Don't feel like, well, I'm old now. No,
it's over.
I'm old now, but you know what? I'm still walking, and I'm still not on machines. And so I still need to take care of myself, mainly because my family still would like me around. My family still wants me around. And so please take care of yourself. It's time to feel grateful. We're going into the holiday season. I don't know yet whether we're going to do it. I know we're not going to do it on Friday Live, but I don't know if we're going to record a show for the Couch Live and put it on the day after Thanksgiving for Friday or not. We'll make that decision over the weekend. But the point is that going into the holiday season, a lot of things are stressful for a lot of people, but still be grateful. You're still here. You're still able to listen to what this message that we're talking about. You're still able to make a different decision today. I don't care if just 2 seconds ago you just stuck a needle in your arm. You can make a new decision to that be the last needle you ever stick in your arm. Anyway, let me start closing this down. I got to have this ready, bro. Sorry, I didn't have it.
Well, I'll end it with my phrase I said a lot, and that is, you can search this entire world and never find anybody more deserving of your love and compassion than yourself.
There you go. So adios, amigos. It's time for a taco. Goodbye. See you.
And that was without even a single drop of rum.
That was awesome.